Semi-Industry Strategy Symposium Europe, ISS Europe. Jeremy Andrzejkowski, welcome to Rzeczpospolita Studio at the very important event for the semiconductor industry in Europe. And my guest today is Dionys van de Ven, President Comet Ixlon. Hello.
Good afternoon.
It's good to have you here. And what is the Europe semiconductor landscape today, actually?
I think it's a very diverse, high tooling and product-oriented landscape across, I would say, Europe. So there are pockets of excellence across Europe. There are leading manufacturers of design as well as chips. So the landscape in itself is broad, vast, and still we would say it's lagging behind compared to the rest of the world. But a lot of potential in Europe is available. And that's why it's also good that we are here in Poland to see also what is in Poland actually available, to understand the full scope of the landscape.
So what are the main strengths and the main challenges of the industry?
Now, when you look to maybe the legacy of the business is that a lot of things was offshored. So there were companies that were maybe in the 1980s, 1990s that were leading in manufacturing as well as design. And that part was offshored to Taiwan, China, to other countries, not in specifically actually in Europe. Tooling, however, was still massively developed also in Europe. So the production machines to actually create chips, they are from the Netherlands, Germany, Austria, a lot of leading edge companies, as well as Switzerland, like we are in Comet, that supply across the globe into the semiconductor market. But manufacturing, compared to the rest of the world, is very low from a chip manufacturing volume point of view.
Last year's showed some weak sides of the situation. So how to rebuild, how to strengthen the industry here in Europe?
It is, I think, supported by the CHIPS Act, and there is now a second CHIPS Act in the works that will help governments, that will help countries, that will help also companies to reinvest in Europe. So it's very important to get actually a good investment climate, to build a fab, to develop a site like, for instance, here that Intel has done with all their engineers, because then you collaborate inside Europe for the market, not only for Europe, but for the global semiconductor market. And that needs to be supported. And we see that is happening. Still, 2024 was a weak year, but that was a global weak year, not just specifically for Europe.
And we are meeting here in Poland. Of course, Poland has some ambitions. You have a very vast experience. What would you advise? Can you share some of your experience, how to do it, how to build it properly here?
No, today I was in a different discussion and we talked a little bit about talent development and institutes and also attracting big companies. So what Poland now at this moment does is enabling the land, enabling the legislation to actually go fast in investment. And at the same time, I think it's everybody knows that the decade-long, I would say, strength in Eastern Europe countries, but also specifically in Poland, is their resources. People that love to go to universities in the technical area is something that has become a very scarce good. So that's something that Poland is already doing very well. Now, you have already best examples, but for instance, when I talk about my company, we need always to be close to manufacturers to actually sell our products. We also would like to be very close to institutes or universities, because that grows talent and users of our tools. So that ecosystem, when the government can support that in Poland, that helps us also for a business to be here with our tools at the university, with government-funded projects, or with, at the end, of course, when there are fabs, that they buy our equipment and that the equipment is used into their manufacturing to create output.
And actually, what role, in your opinion, can play Poland or perhaps the whole region in the semiconductor industry in Europe?
So when you look to, I would say, close neighbors like Germany, Czech Republic, that combination of what investments are done in these countries. The borders are there, of course, but they are actually very close to each other. So when TSMC is developing a fab in Dresden, the government and the people of Poland can also benefit from that, and the opposite as well. So it is a very close ecosystem. Europe is maybe not a small part of a continent, but it is still very close together to cross the borders. It's so easy in Europe to actually exchange knowledge, work together. So I would say that's the good part of being here. So it's not only about Poland. Poland has specific resources, specific knowledge, but they can be applied across Europe to make also Europe benefit from that.
About chances of Poland in playing role in the semiconductor industry and about expectations from the business side. I was talking to Dionys van de Ven, President Comet Exelon. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.